back to Simbright Fashion Academy YouTube channel for another interesting tutorial. In this tutorial, I'll be teaching you how to sew this beautiful high-low flared top. As you can see right here, it has an inbuilt belt. It has a shawl collar as well. This is actually overlapping dress and it looks so beautiful, as you can see. So I'm trying to tie the belt, so you can make an inbuilt belt for it. You can also sew it without a belt and use an external belt for it. So I'll be sharing with you the tips and tricks to sewing this beautiful top, flared top. So if this is what you want to learn in this class, I will encourage you to stay till the end of this tutorial to learn how this high-low top is made. Don't forget to subscribe to this channel and stay till the end of this tutorial to learn more. Thank you. To start off this tutorial, we are going to draft our overlapping pattern. So the overlap pattern, this is my shoulder line. This is the shoulder line. You need your chest line and your full half length or your waist. So here we have both back and the front pattern. So this is back and front pattern. We are using this one pattern for everything. So just go ahead and impute your bust circumference divided by 4 and your waist circumference divided by 4. I've already drafted my front and back armhole line. So this line you are having here now is the center back. So when we are cutting it, it's the center back. So the first thing you are supposed to do before drafting this pattern is to give a space of 6 inches. So after giving the space of 6 inches, just go ahead and rule the center back line. Then extend your line on the space of 6 inches. So I've extended my line. So after that, I'm going to impute my neckline of 1 inch. And my neck depth, I'm using 3 inches because we have a shawl collar attached to this dress. So I just go ahead and connect to this point. That is my neck line. So now the next we are going to do, we'll come over to the waistline and extend the waistline by your nipple to nipple divide by 2. So my nipple to nipple is 8, divided by 2 is 4. So from here, just go ahead and mark 4 inches. Then from the shoulder line on the center back, go ahead and mark 6 inches. Then on the 4 inches line, come up by 2 inches. So I'll just rule my 2 inches line like this, and then I'll allow this line to pass through the 6 inches like this and pass through the 3 inches line. I believe you understand. So this is going to serve as the front overlap, while what we have here will serve as the back overlap. So we are done right now. So the next thing is, if you want to attach a dart to this dress, so whatever dart you want to attach, just go ahead and attach it. But for me, I'm not attaching any dart. So if you're attaching your dart, just go ahead and mark your nipple to nipple measurement. Mark it also on the chest line, and then you can draw your dart. So this dart can be for both front and back if you are using a waist dart. So add half an inch to it and come down by 1 inch and create your dart. So this dart, when you are cutting it, when you are sewing it, you will sew the dart for front and back. So if you have added dart, don't forget to do what? Replace the dart by 1 inch. So me, I've replaced the dart and I'm going to reconnect it to this point. So like I said, I'm not using darts for this dress. I just want to illustrate how to achieve this. So I'm going to cut out my pattern, and the first pattern we are going to cut out now is the back. So for the back, this is what we are going to do. We are going to fold this part in. Since the patterns are in one place, just go ahead and fold this part inwards like this. So once you have folded it inwards like this, then go ahead and cut out your pattern like this. So like I said, I'm not adding any dart, so I go ahead and remove the dart I replaced. So go ahead and cut the back. Remember, we are cutting only the back. So this is the back armhole. Just go ahead and cut it, and then you cut your shoulder and cut your neckline. So I'm going to use this to cut my back pattern now. Add my seam allowances. Later I'll use it to cut for the front. So here you can see I'm done cutting. So this part is on fold. I just folded it and I added 0.5 inch seam allowance. I added 1.5 inch on the side and 1/2 inch to attach the high-low flare. So I just go ahead and take off my pattern. So this is what we have now. So we have a full back. This is a full back for the back. So next is to cut out my pattern now for the overlap on the front. So I'll just go ahead and go from here. So this what we have here, it depends on the rope attachment. So if your rope attachment is going to be very big as 2 inches, you can do this. Then if it's going to be like 1.5, so you can just do at 1.5. So I'm thinking if I should reduce it to 1.5. So I can just go ahead and reduce this to 1.5 or even 1 inch. So let me just do 1 inch. So do 1 inch because that 2 inches is too much for the rope attachment. So I will now reconnect what I have here from that 1 inch. So it's just simple. You connect it to the neckline. That is all. So I'm going to cut out what I have there too, and I'll use it too for my pattern. So I'll just go here and go here. And if you want the neckline to be more wider, you can step a little more down by 7 inches. Then if you want it to be high, you can do the 6 inches. So I just want it to be a little bit high here. So this is my pattern and I'm going to cut it out on my fabric. I'm cutting 2 pieces. So this is what we have now after adding 0.5 inch all around. But on this side you have to add either 1 inch or 1.5. So now I'm going to take off my pattern and my patterns right away. And after that I'm going to create my facing, the collar. So instead of making lining for this dress, just go ahead and create facing. It's easier. So this is what I'm using as my facing. So you can just get any fabric for your facing. Then you place the pattern. You place it like this. The front piece, just place it like this. Okay. So once you have placed it, secure it with your pin. Secure with your pin. So after securing it with your pin, go ahead and cut out the shape that we have. So this is the shape. I'll just follow the shape. Then you cut it out on the shoulder line. You also cut it out. So I will just cut my at 2.5 inches. So I want it to be at 2.5 inches, my facing. So I'll measure 2.5. So here is my 2.5. You can also do 3 inches. So just lift it up and make a notch at it. Then turn it to the front. This is the facing. So now I'm going to mark the 2.5 and take off my facing and cut. So I'll just measure the 2.5. 2.5. So just place it and measure the 2.5, then connect the facing. So I will lift this part up. So make sure you lift it up, or you can take it off from the pattern too. So you can see the facing we created for it now. So this is wrong side to wrong side. So make sure you mark all your wrong side, so that when we'll be stitching it, it will be easy for us. Sometimes this fabric might be difficult to identify the wrong side. So here is my wrong side. So my pattern is ready. My front piece is ready with the facing. And now we are going to work on the facing for the back. So I'll also identify the wrong side. So for the facing of the back, just go ahead and place it like this. So once you have placed it, just bring a piece of fabric like this and fold it into two. Place this on top like this, and then make sure it aligns at the center back like that. Then cut out what you have. Also trim out what you have. But because we are using 2.5, I'll also measure 2.5. So this is my 2.5. Now I can take off my my back, and then I'll start to measure the 2.5. From this point, I'll keep measuring 2.5 like that. I'll measure 2.5 from the neckline like that. So you will have your facing this way. So I'll just go ahead and cut it out. So we are done with the facing. So this is the facing for the back right now. So this is it, as you can see. So after cutting the facing, the next thing we are going to do is to sew, take off the facing for front and back separately. So I'm going to take off my facing. So make sure you know the upper and the lower piece. So I will bring my back and bring my front. I'll go over to the machine and stitch the necklines first. So I'm going to stitch my neckline, as you can see. So I will stitch it at 1/2 inch first. That's the first thing I will do. Then after that, I'll come back with the facing. So this facing, this is the upper part of it, and this is the wrong side. So I'll place the right side to right side of this facing. So if I place it like this, I'll go over to the machine. This is the seam line, and this is the right side. I'll place it like this. So I'm going to stitch. So the facing is supposed to be the same length, but I have a shortage here, so I will just trim it off, but I believe you understand. So I'm going to sew the facing and the fabric. Let me do that. This is my front piece. So the next thing I'm going to do, I've sewn my front piece, I've joined them at the seam line. I've sewn my facing, I've also joined them on the seam line, as you can see. So I'll set the facing aside, and we'll sew the collar to the main dress. So here is my notch. So just place your center back together like this and measure the length of the collar. So I'm going to take the measurement of my collar right now. From the center back, place your tape and measure around your collar. So you measure it up to this point. So here I have 20.5. I'm going to add 1 inch to it, that is 21.5. So the whole of my collar now, I'm going to cut it at 21.5 times 2, because I fold it on fold. I place it on fold. 21.5, or let us do 22 times 2. Okay, so 22 times 2 is 44. So I just brought a piece of fabric like this to construct my collar. So this piece of fabric is on fold like this. I have 2 pieces, so just go ahead, and it can be a square fabric anyway, but this is the shape I got from my pieces. So here I'm going to take the measurement of that 22 inches. So here, this is my 22 inches. So I'll go over to that 22 inches and I'm going to cut it like this. Now we'll start taking the shape of the collar. So I'm going to mark the collar, depends on the width of your collar. So for me, I'll be working with 3.5 inches, so that after stitching, my collar will be at 3 inches. So you can make it smaller, you can make it bolder. So I'll just mark 3.5, 3.5. So just go ahead and measure half of 22 inches. Half of 22 is 11. Here is my 11. So I'll measure that 22 and I'll measure that 3.5 to that half. Then from here, after this point, I'll start measuring 2.5. I'll start measuring 2 inches. I'll start measuring 1.5, then to nothing. So I'm going to connect the lines. This part I'll connect it straight, but from here I'll start tapering it like this. I believe you understand. So I'll just go ahead and cut my collar. So once I get here, I'll start reducing it from the 3.5. I'll start making it small, because this part is going to be, can you see? So it's a short collar. So now this is what I have. I'm going to open up this folded edge because we are going to sew this collar. So you can also hairstyle this collar, but I don't want to do that now. So I'll just go ahead and cut so here I have 2 pieces of my collar. So go ahead and place right side to the right side, and we are going to stitch the part that we tapered. I'll stitch it to the end and then I'll top stitch. So please hold it down with your pins. So I'll do that now. So now I've gone ahead and I've stitched. So I stitched at 0.5 inch, as you can see, to the end. So I'll just open up my collar now, and I'm going to flip my seams on one part, which I call the lining. So I'll just go ahead and top stitch and give it a good press. So I'm done top stitching, and this is what I have. So what I will do is just to go and give it a good press, like I earlier said. Okay, so just go and press it down. Then after pressing it down, put it together like this and get the midpoint of the collar. So I'm going to put it together, get the midpoint. So here is my midpoint, and I'm going to make a notch at my midpoint like this. After that, you come back with your dress. If you remember, we've already made our notch here. So pick up the collar and lay it right side to right side. So the part I top stitch is the back, so the part that is not top stitch is the front. So I'll lay it like this. Okay, sorry, just lay it wrong side to right side, sorry, because the collar will lay, the top stitch part will lay on the right side, wrong side to right side. So I'll just place it like this, go over and sew my collar till I get to the end. So I'm done sewing my collar. So this is what the collar looks like after I've attached it. This is it. So the collar will be like this, but we will still turn it with our facing. But before we turn it our facing, remember we have our belt to sew here. So we are going to sew our belt here. So I've already cut out my belt. This is my belt, and I'm going to sew it. I have 2 pieces of it. So the length of my belt measures as long as 34 inches. You can make it 40 inches if you want, and the width of my belt measures 4 inches. So I'll just go ahead and stitch half an inch, just sew my belt the way we saw. So I stitch my belt on that point, giving 0.5 inch for the sewing of the high-low flay. This is the collar, just stitch it at 0.5. I did the same. I also stitch and gave 0.5. So this is how you are going to sew it. So it will all lay like this, and then you come with your facing. So the facing, I'll just position it right side to the right side. So I'll just place it exactly and secure with my pins. So just go ahead and place it like this. We are going to hold down with pins. So after holding it down, we'll go over to the machine to stitch the facing. So I'll hold it down like this. So I'll keep securing it. So I'll also bring I'll flip the lining, that's the shawl collar part, like this. Okay, then match the center back to center back, match the seam line to seam line, secure all of them, open up the seams. So that's what I'm going to do now. I'm going to sew from here all around, then I'll flip my seams on the part of this and top stitch on it like this. Let me do that. So I'm done turning my facing and I top stitched, so I'll go ahead and give it a good press. Then I'm going to use my weaving machine to weave this part, or you can fold it in and also tack neatly. Okay, so the dress is almost ready. So next is to put your seam allowances together. Then we added 1.5 inch. I'm going to sew off my 1.5 inch. I'll do the same for the other. Then we'll cut the high low. Done closing up the size of the dress. So here I stitched 1.5 inch close, but here I stitched 1.5 inch before the belt allowance. I left a space open and stitch half an inch. Okay, so this is the part I'm going to pass my belt. So when I give it a good press, if I iron it down, here will be open. Can you see the space? So you have to leave a space like this where you are going to pass your belt. So of course you see how that is going to be done. So the next we are going to do is to take the measurement of everything we have here. So this is the facing. I'm going to stitch it together, the facing. So but I will first take the measurement of my high-low, because we are going to make a high-low down part. So I will just take my measurement like this. After joining, just go ahead and take your measurement. Make sure you take it accurately. So here I'm trying my best to make sure I take it accurately. So if it's not accurate, it will not be correct. So everything I have here is 51 inches. 51 inches. So this 51 inches now, we are going to cut a circle high-low down part. So 51 inches, I'm going to divide it by 6.28. So whatever I have here, that is what we are going to use to cut it as the radius. So here I'm going to use 2 yards for the cutting. So let me calculate the radius. 51 divided by 6.28 gave me 8 inches. So I'm going to cut my fabric 2 yards with 8 inches radius. So I'll come in with my Ankara fabric. So like I said, I'm using 2 yards for this part. So here is my 2 yards. I have it on fold. So first you will do is to fold your 2 yards just like I folded it now. You can see it. So just fold it. After folding it, pick it up from here and fold it another one. Okay, so we are going to cut a circle high-low with it. So you see this part, that is the part we are going to measure our 8 inches. So you are going to measure the 8 inches radius. So it depends on what your own measurement is. Okay, so this is the high-low part of this skirt, of this gown. So here you can see the shorter part. From here to here is the center front, and it's shorter and it's longer at the back. So I'll just show you how I cut this, because this was actually big for me to demonstrate. So I'll be using paper to show you what I did or how I cut this high-low. So now this is my fabric. Your fabric should be at 2 yards. Okay, if you want to achieve this long high-low, your fabric has to be at 2 yards. The length of Ankara comes at 45 inches. So this is what I did. I folded these 2 yards into 2 like this, and folded it again on the length side into 2. Of course, you know what I did here. This is a 360 degrees cutting. Then I came in with my tape and I measured my 8 inches, which is my radius. So here is my radius. So if you look at this part now, you can see it's shorter. So, and this part is longer. So what I did was I measured what I have here at 2 inches, and this is what I have at a longer length. Okay, so you know I'm demonstrating it with paper, so you have a longer length, a very longer length. So whatever you have, keep bringing it like this till you meet this straight part like this. So if you meet this straight part, just go like this. That is what I did. So I went ahead to cut my radius. So you just go ahead and cut your radius. After cutting your radius, you go ahead and do this and cut. So once you are done cutting, open it up. If you open it up, you can see what you have. So now we are going to call the whole of this the back, and the whole of this is going to be the front. Of course, you can choose anywhere as front and back. So after that, you will now come back with your tape, open it up like this. From this junction, which is the shorter length, now start taking this. I have 2 inches here, so yours might be around 14 inches or so. I will keep marking that 2 inches, placing my tape on the radius, and I'll keep marking it. I'll keep marking it like this. So once I get to this point, I did what? I rounded it up. So that becomes the high-low for us. So you just go ahead and cut out the excess. So it's easier to make this high-low this way. So by the time we attach it, here is the center front. Here is CF, and here is the center back. So I will just go ahead and open it up now. That is what I'm going to do. So we'll attach it on the dress at the center back and at the center front. So I believe this illustration was helpful for this high-low. So you can see that's what I was saying. So you can see that this part is the center front area, and that is the part I'm going to split according to my explanation. That is the part I'm going to open up now. So I'll go ahead and do what? And open it up like this. So that is it. You can see the open part. So if you wish, you can just taper it. You can just taper it this way. Some people can also taper it this way. You understand? Okay, so by the time we attach, I'll make a notch at the back so you can see the length of the back, and this is the front. So I'll go back to my machine now, and I'm going to stitch this. So this is the back. Find the midpoint of the back. So I'm going to create the midpoint of my back now. Here is it. And I'll pick up the midpoint, place them right side to right side, and stitch to the end of it. I will do that right now. So after sewing the high-low to the upper piece of this dress, you can see what we have right here. So this is actually looking very beautiful. So if you want the high-low part to be very long at the back, you can use 3 yards and use the same method to cut it. Okay, so thank you for watching. Bye.